Very excited to talk to you. You've had quite an amazing journey in your music profession. We're going to get into a lot of that. But before that, here at Bionic Buzz, we're all about people's passion. Where's your passion for music kind of come from that led you on this amazing journey? Certain album, certain live performance, or something that was just natural for you as a child?
As a child, I started listening to the radio, and I mean, I had a radio next to my bed, and I would turn on. I loved Motown, loved Billy Joel. My mom was a big Beatles fan, but also a big fan of like random things like George Thorogood and REM. And so I grew up sort of listening to stuff like that. And a lot of that stuff has like these harmonies. So I would just sing along to it. And then we had a piano as a kid, and I sort of played by ear basically. So now I can read music and things like that. But I mean, even now still, I'm more of a by ear kind of player. So I really just grew up around it. My dad played classical guitar. But as far as like pursuing as a career, I'm definitely the only one in the family who, works in music. But yeah, it's kind of since I was a kid, I just remember singing along with Motown and Billy Joel, and here I am.
I love that. And you grew up in Virginia Beach, right?
Yeah, correct. Born in Cocoa Beach, Florida, and then we moved to Virginia when I was around 4 or 5 years old.
Okay, yeah, it's almost like a backwards journey for me, because I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland area.
Oh, cool.
I moved to Los Angeles, spent 15 years in Southern California, now just moved to Orlando. You did go to LA at one point. Now you live in Nashville, right?
Yeah, correct. 100%.
Yeah. So what made you move besides, I guess, the cost of living,
that really, at the time, that really wasn't a factor. And now, honestly, Nashville is through the roof with cost of living. But it was really songwriting. Honestly, the craft of writing, and how I found that people in Los Angeles, there's songwriters and there's great ones, obviously, but in Nashville, it was more of a thing where you get in a room with somebody and you start with an idea, and nobody minds spending 3 or 4 hours digging into what the song's going to be. And there was something really powerful when I first visited about that, and I just said, man, I got to move to this town. So it was a visceral thing that Nashville has that other places just didn't, not for me at least.
Oh yeah, and one of my best friends just moved from LA to Nashville, and I went to visit it. What an awesome city! I mean, there's just live music everywhere. Even at like a deli, even McDonald's has live music. So. Yeah,
it's insane. It's the weirdest thing. I have not been to that McDonald's, but I know about it.
Yeah. Well, cool. You did hook up with Rachel Bradshaw, who's like the daughter of Terry Bradshaw. They had their own reality show. Talk about, I guess, working with her and her new Christmas single. That's why I had to wear the Christmas shirt today.
Oh, I see it now. Oh, nice. That's great. Yeah. Well, this is green, and then the keyboard back there is red. So I guess that's my walls.
There you go.
I got green walls. Yeah, basically, I've known Rachel a long time. I've produced a couple projects she's been a part of for the last, over the course of the last 10 years. I've written with her years and years ago. And then I guess the show wanted her to write this song. So we actually got together over Zoom with a good friend of mine, Stephanie Smith, sort of a writing partner over the years. And we wrote a song over Zoom, which was grueling. And then we had the idea, I don't know how it came about, but it was basically, hey man, what if you sang this with Terry? And she freaked out. She was like, oh my gosh, it might've been her idea. I don't really remember. It was on Zoom. So I don't know what happens on Zoom stays on Zoom. It's not in my memory, but
this one's being recorded.
Exactly. Thank God. Yeah. We'll be able to reference what I said to embarrass myself here. So she, somebody came up with the idea of, man, let's do a duet here almost. And that was it. So we wrote the song kind of with that in mind. We're like, oh, Terry can sing this, you can sing this. And then the show was all about it. And she's on this show, Bradshaw Bunch on E, and it's doing really well. And apparently people really like it. I mean, I have friends who saw this episode that aired this past week where we go in the studio, and, the studio is one little section of the episode, 6-7 minutes, but so many people texted me and said, oh my gosh, I love that show. Like, that's so neat.
Oh, cool.
Which has been really great. The songs, people seem to be responding to it. And, I'm sort of gently nudging Rachel to do a bunch of music because she's super talented. So, I mean, working with her as a writer, she's great. She always has great ideas. great melodies, just fresh to me. And she lets me sort of guide the ship on production. We did, horns, which is always fun. And the song was a blast to me. So I'm really happy with it, really happy how it came out.
Very cool. Who else have you collaborated with in the past, or even I guess the future?
Oh gosh,
I know there's a lot.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot. Most notably in Nashville, I work with Chris Young a bit. We've written several songs, and still looking for him to release some of it. But we've got great stuff in the bank. I write with Stephanie Smith a lot, who is a really, really powerful Nashville writer. She's had 7 number ones. It's incredible. And I cut a record on, I was really happy, top 40 country. My first top 40 country record was Josh Jones he was in a duo called Steel Magnolia. So I cut a solo record on him a few years back. And my other top 40 record, I haven't had a number one, but breaking top 40 was with an artist, a band called Sparks the Rescue. That was a punk rock band out of Portland, Maine. I don't know if you're a fan, but they're awesome bands. We did a record a few years ago.
Check them out though. Yeah.
Yeah, Sparks the Rescue. They're great. I mean, I don't even know if it's called punk rock. More like emo, like kind of like.
Oh yeah, pop punk, type stuff.
Yeah, like My Chemical Romance or Mayday Parade, like bands like that, like just with those almost emo rock, maybe emo, but without they don't wear the, it's not no, there's no eyeliner in that band, but the songs are emotional and they rock. They're killer.
Oh, cool. You seem like you work with a lot of different type of musicians. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's all across the board, man. I mean, I don't want to say that I take anything that comes across my way, because that's not the truth, but how I really enjoy in Nashville, especially, there's so much music and there's so many different kinds of music. I mean, I do a lot of hip hop. I do a lot of mixing for other artists. I do film and TV, voiceover. I mean, I also own the studio too. So if somebody calls and says, hey man, I need to cut this, I don't know, bluegrass album, and the songs are good, it's for me, it's a no-brainer. If I love the music, it's great. It's easy. And that's sort of what's been a blessing about having the studio space, is being able to say, yeah, man, bring your band in. Let's record it. Actually, I was just talking the other day with a banjo artist. He calls it mountain pop. And he's a banjo, mountain pop. And he's a banjo artist. And it's really cool stuff. So we're talking about going in the studio and cutting a record.
Like banjo, but poppy music kind of added to it?
Yeah, it's like banjo. Yeah, it's banjo. So you would think like bluegrass, but it's not bluegrass, because bluegrass traditionally is 5, 6 guys standing around a microphone, or girls too, and they're just all singing in a semicircle. This is not that. This is, drums and bass and hand claps, background vocals, lyrics. More rock.
Check that out. Is that released yet, or are you working on that?
Not yet. No, it's not yet. So we haven't gone in yet. We'll probably go back. I think we're going to go in early next year. Everything's kind of going down for the holidays. I'm in the middle of just tying up loose ends with mixes and stuff. But there's all kinds of exciting stuff coming out. I mean, it's really cool. One artist I'm really, really, really excited about. Her name is Shada. Her stuff is out. Sorry, my computer's going to screensaver here. Shada is her name. So she's released a bunch of material online. Girl, powerhouse singer, powerhouse writer. Really amazing vocalist, but awesome, amazing person. Shada. You should listen on Spotify. I've mixed what she's got out and co-wrote on a few songs, and sort of done some production stuff. Sheyda. Shada. Yeah. So she's up and coming, but that's kind of where a lot of my heart is, man. I mean, working with established people like Rachel, Terry, that's great, but working with up and comers is really magical too, because you can really seeing that spark come on when something happens and they go, oh man, maybe that's what I need to sound like. That's an exciting process versus somebody who's going, hey, this is my sound, these are my songs. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And plus it's like, especially when you see if that artist blows up, then it's like, hey, I discovered them first,
Oh, absolutely.
Following their journey, I feel like must be just fun as like a music producer,
Yeah, no, it's really cool. It's an integral part of that journey. It's really fun. It's exciting, yeah.
Do you do any of your own solo stuff, or you perform live or anything, or you just kind of like?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I have a band. I write and produce. And so I put out a record over COVID. Great time to release a record. It's called The Photographs. Would love for people to go check that out. The Photographs on Apple, Spotify, Google, all that. Just ask Alexa to play The Photographs. So it's a band, but it's me with my friends. But I wrote the songs and brought them to the table, co-wrote them. But I'm going in again early next year and gonna cut another record, because I put it out in like June of 2020. So I need to release some more material for sure.
Okay. Do you perform live at all in Nashville at all?
Yeah, I play live here. I work with a band called the Spasmatics, which is an 80s cover band. And I actually sing with that band. So we do a lot of events. We're flying everywhere all the time. So if I'm not here in the studio, I'm usually on an airplane.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's really fun, man.
80s band when I was there. I mean, I forget which venue. There's so many on Broadway, but yeah, they were rocking some Bon Jovi and some other 80s stuff. So
nice, man. Yeah, we do. We sort of, honestly, we stay away from what Lower Broadway here in Nashville does. Like, it's basically, we have a sort of a rule is if they play it on Broadway, we don't do it. So
nice.
Not any elitist view, but of like, hey, if you want to hear, no offense, Bon Jovi, Sweet Child of Mine, that sort of stuff is great. And I've covered those songs a million times, but we do a little more, not deep cuts, but just a little more obscure things. We do like,
I love that.
Take on Me, Huey Lewis. We do things like Madonna. We do Material Girl, and I love that. I love singing that stuff too. The songs are amazing. So much fun.
Well, if I ever come back to Nashville, and if you're not busy, you can show me some of the other nooks.
Please, man. Yeah. We'll hang.
Very cool. Where can people follow you? Social media, website, hear your music, all that good stuff.
So on Instagram, it's Leland Grant. And the band is called The Photographs, and they can find that anywhere they find their own music. And, speaking of the Rachel Bradshaw thing, go listen to her record. She's got her EPs coming out. I'm not trying to promote her, but I am trying to promote her.
Oh, yeah, you're part of it.
Yeah, her EP drops on January 7th, I think. I think our lead track is a duet she did with Jamie Johnson, who came here and recorded with her. And man, talk about somebody incredible. I don't know if you're aware of Jamie Johnson, but man, he is a iconic artist today in Nashville, and just mad respect for him, man. What an incredible singer. And just I'll tell you, working with him was very interesting because he's very intense, and by that I mean nothing negative. I just mean he comes in, he knows what he's going to do, he knows what he wants. And most artists will punch record. It's called punch recording, where you sing a line and then maybe you need to get one word, so you punch in and you start recording on this one word. So I said, hey man, let's just punch that back half of that line. We need to grab that again. And Jamie said, hey man, I don't do that. I'm gonna sing it again. And he's right there in the vocal booth. I said, okay, sounds great, sing it again. And we had like a camera crew in here, and everybody's looking at me like, oh man, he went okay. But I love it, man. I mean, because he's old school, put it that way, when they used to record the tape. And
oh yeah,
there is
like Tom Petty recorded just live to tape back in the day, so.
Oh dude, everybody did. I mean, and tape is magical because you make decisions on the fly. You're going, oh, we love it or we hate it. If we hate it, we're going to re-record it. So yeah, it was awesome recording him. So they did a If I Needed You track with her and Jamie. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but I did. So anyway, that'll be out on her EP in January. But yeah, man, just here at my studio is Southlight Sound. That's where we are. If the camera wasn't plugged into the wall for power, I would take you on the tour back there. But
east or west Nashville or downtown?
It's south of downtown.
Okay.
It's south of downtown. The area is called Creve Hall. It's right near the zoo, and it's super quiet little suburban area. And man, I love it. I love the space. It's great. It's really great. Sounds good too. So.
Oh, it was most important. Well, cool. Thank you so much, and congratulations on an amazing career you've done. You've taken your passion for music and took you around the country, and now you're working with some of these amazing artists. So
it's awesome, man. Thank you, Steven. Yeah, thank you for your time, brother. And when you're in Nashville, hit me up, man. We'll go listen to some Bon Jovi and have a beer.